Good afternoon, Keller ISD teachers. We're so happy you're joining us this afternoon for Kickstart Your Learning, which should have been our February episode. We're coming to you in March because of Snowvid number 2 in February. Weren't we blessed to have several snow days in February this year? I love having a snow day. So I enjoyed it last Wednesday, and here we are rescheduled. Thank goodness our guest speaker could come. And so we're ready to bring you Problematic today, a math teacher's solution. All right, we've got several special people here today. First of all, and most important, we have Shannon Bryant, our special guest, who's going to be talking about Problematic. And Shannon, I'll let you introduce yourself really quickly.
Hello, everybody. I am the coordinator of virtual learning in Keller ISD.
And we're so blessed to have Shannon on the campus where we office. She often comes to us with ideas and she wants to share them with you guys. And so we're like, yes, jump on, let's do it. My name's Christy Harold. I'm one of the facilitators for educational technology. I also have Misty Shea here.
Hi, everybody.
And Aaron Reister, our director of educational technology.
Hey, everyone.
All right, let's go over. We're just going to take care of a few small things before we let Shannon get started with what you're really here for. If this is your first time joining us on a YouTube Live, you may not see the chat window to the right of the video feed. So if you're missing the chat window, we have a couple of steps we'd like you to go ahead and do. They won't take you but just a few seconds. And that way you'll get the chat window once you refresh your screen, and you'll be able to engage with us during the event. So let me tell you what those steps are. Your chat window is probably going to say that you need to create a channel to join the chat. And so if that's you, if that's what you see, we'd like you to follow these 3 easy steps. You're going to start by clicking your avatar in the top right-hand corner where you see your picture or a circle. And if your picture's not showing, just click on the blank circle. Then in the drop-down, you're going to click Create a Channel. On the next window, you're going to choose the user name and then click Select. And then at the bottom, you're going to click Save and Continue. It's possible you'll need to refresh that screen or type the URL up in the URL box, the Omni box, www.kellerisd.net/kickstart to refresh your entire screen. But now you should see a chat window. So to recap that, you're going to start with the avatar in the top right-hand corner, create a channel, click the username section and click the select button, and then save and continue. So go ahead and do those steps while we go over the rest of the housekeeping that we're taking care of. So if you're participating in our Kickstart Your Learning event for EQ credit, we'd just like to make note of the next few things. If you'll please watch the entire live event. If you'll introduce yourself in the chat window at the beginning, so go ahead right now, tell us who's here, tell us what you teach, and tell us what campus you're from. Then if you'll submit at least one comment or question during the event, we'll know that you were engaged during that time. And then at the end, Missy and I will provide a link to you to a Google form that you fill out to get EQ credit. Also, in case you're wondering, our past YouTube lives are always stored at this web address, that www.kellerisd.net/kickstart. And if you need some extra EQ credit to finish out your EQ for the year, some of our past events from a couple of years ago are stored in a Canvas course where you can finish a module by watching the video and doing a reflection and then request the credit from us. And we're happy to get that information to you. Just email us and we can point you toward that course if you want to watch some past Kickstart Your Learnings for EQ credit. Okay, our topic today is an exciting one. It's problematic. So I know I've probably got math teachers in the audience. I hope you're here as math teachers. And if you're not a math teacher, you're going to go home and share, or go back to your campus and share this with your favorite math teacher. Shannon showed me this a few days ago, or a few weeks ago now, actually. And I thought it was really neat. So I'm super excited that she is here to share it with you guys. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Shannon.
All right, guys, now, Christy, I'm going to correct you, and I hope that's okay. We'll still be friends. They actually have other things, not just math, but their math is the best. They have more math than anything else. So
I
I
so
am.
didn't know that. I'm glad to know that.
Yeah, well, you learn new things every day, right? I don't know. There it is. I was afraid my presentation had gone away, but JK, it's still there. So I'm going to give you a little tour of the basics of Problematic, because this is really about their new interactive questions that are very similar to STAR 2.0. So I think that's going to be pretty cool for you. So it is just problematic.com. I believe that Misty is putting that link to the chat if you like to play along that way, or you can watch my little tour. If you are a secondary teacher in the district, so if you're at middle schools or high schools, you have access to everything that's already been purchased for you. If you are not, I'm going to show you what you do have access to, because a lot of Problematic is free. And you can set up an account for free. I'm just going to log into mine here. I have been using this for about 20 years now. Back when I started using it, it was on a floppy disk. So right here, you see all these buttons. If you are not a secondary teacher, you won't be able to access all of them, but I will say start over here with state assessments. That's a really good place that you can search by topic. If you are a secondary teacher, you can use the Texas TEKS, but those are only pertaining to mathematics. And I want you to notice some of the other things that are here. You've got NAEP, which is the National Database of Assessments. That is very cool. You're also going to see that these are very similar to STAR 1, if you remember that resource. Illustrative math, ooh, that's brand new. That's exciting. A little bit of world languages too. You don't see them a lot. And SAT and ACT prep as well. Okay, so consider this like your catalog. This is where you would go to shop for problems. And we're going to just make a quick one real quick. So I'll click new. I'm not going to go into everything, but we'll put a little blah, blah, blah here and create my test over blah, blah, blah. Now I can select from any of these places. I'm going to click here so you can see what topics might look like. And these are all math, but I also can change it to science or social studies. Okay, and I can search by the topic, or I can look at standards for those specific states. I'm going to just pick one topic. There we go. And so here I am searching through this catalog, just like I would be on Amazon looking for shoes. And when I find a problem that I really like, I add it to my test. And look at that, it goes away so that I don't have to worry about putting in duplicate questions. So I've got 2 in there. Now I can also filter. I can edit the problem right there. I can star it if I like it. I can flag it if I see an issue with it. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like to arrange your questions. They do have a new feature in Problematic, just FYI, that you can link it with Aware. What? Okay, so here is my test. I have just 2 questions on it, but from this window, I could move those questions around if I wanted to have them in a specific order. And it's letting me know what standard is covered there. When we start looking at these interactive problems, they're going to talk to you about editing, because I have a little video, and this is the editing window. Let me show you that again. It's just the little pencil. Each question has one. Okay, so that's an important screen, and that's why I wanted to show it to you now. You can also add figures to your test. And the reason I'm showing you this, because OMG, my friends that use this love this so much. Now I could put my own image there, but look at this stockpile of images. I mean, you're just going, oh my goodness, so many things, so many things. Look at all the graphs. Oh, maybe you're elementary and you say, I don't do that math. What kind of math is that? Crazy math. Well, let's just do some circles. There we go. Oh, multiple circles. There we go. So you can get some really good images. Science and social studies teachers also really love those images that they can put in and write their own questions. Okay, but wait, there's more. Here at format, I can change if they need space or I don't want them to have space. If I want to include a QR code for students to grade their things afterwards. But this, I have used this for years, this little piece. See my format right now? It looks like a test. It's got that line down the middle like they do on STAR test. But here I've got one big problem per page, which is great if you wanted to hang your problems up around the room or put a different problem on each dry erase board for kids to do. Then if I arrow over one more, I can get flashcards made out of my problems. What I love to do with that is I would take those flashcards, put them on a cardstock that was colored, and then have students separate those into 3 categories, an easy, medium, or hard. Because if they have to think about what is easy for them, medium for them, and difficult for them, then they're really processing the information on that about that question before they start using it. And that's what we want them to do. I can change the header and the font and the multiple choice so it looks like different types of tests. I can have multiple parts on the of the test also, like maybe one part with the calculator and one part out, one part where they can use a dictionary and one part where they can't. I can make that test into a PDF, and I can choose if I want to add formula charts with it. This is one way that you can give this to students. You would download the PDF and you can share it to them that way. Share it with them, like speak correct words now. Now, the export feature is only available for those people who paid for it. And in Keller, we have paid for it for all secondary teachers. But guys, it's $10 a year. So it's really a good investment. I used this when I was at teaching at TCU, and it was so easy because it's self-grading. Notice that I can export it to a slideshow, great for going over the test afterwards. I can give this link to them in my LMS. I can also make it into a Google quiz. Look at this, PowerPoint, whiteboard, Eduphoria, if my campus principal requires me to have my assessments in Eduphoria so they can try that. That's one great thing. But you also have all these other things. So it works great with Canvas, easy peasy. So if you're a Canvas fanatic like I am, a big Canvas fanatic, you might want to check that out. Okay, the scoring is the last part that I'm going to show you, because this is where you will see your students as a whole, or you can look at their individual responses. Of course, I don't have any students in here, or you can look at the individual problems with the breakdown on what students submitted. This is the screen that I've used before to go over maybe the top 5 missed questions with kiddos in class. All right. Whew, that was a lot. Now let's look at, I'm going to make sure I'm sharing the right thing here. I always worry about that. Okay, I am. Good job, Shannon. So now we're going to look at the 3 different types of questions that they have. The multiple choice and short response, that is what's naturally going to be generated when you create a test, because they had that before STAR 2.0 gave them the bright idea to make their questions more interactive. Let's watch the short little video that just talks about those pieces. And I know we're more familiar as teachers with using those in class anyway. And here we go.
Problematic makes it easy to write interactive questions and to change from one question type to another. Let's start with multiple choice. No need for tabbing. Create a list, highlight it, and tell Problematic what you're doing. More than one answer? Simply change the list to multi-select. You'll see checkboxes when you create an online test. If you prefer clickable boxes, change the properties to no labels. Want to go further? Reordering choices is a breeze.
So I'm stopping it here because I want to go back and show you how these compare with what the state is creating. We looked at multiple choice. You can see that it looks very similar, but also the multi-select. They tried really hard to make them. This is an example assessment question that TEA has shared to let you see what the STAR 2.0 is going to look like. So you can see how it's very similar. You can multi-select and have several answers that are the correct one. Now, the next one they're going to show you is the drag and drop feature, which I love drag and drop. I just think it's a little bit more hands-on and tactile, and I like to move stuff around anyway. So let's take a look at that question selection on how to make it.
For drag and drop, change the list, then create a table for the drop zone. Drop-down menus are easy too, because you type the choices in line, separated by commas. As usual, tell Problematic what you've created. When you create an online test, Problematic will score the questions automatically. All you have to do is specify the answers by right-clicking, by typing in the right order, by typing in the answers in the table for drag and drop, or by putting an asterisk in the drop-down menu. Perhaps the best news of all, Problematic knows how to format your interactive questions on a PDF, so they work just as well in print as they do online. You can even present them on a whiteboard using the slideshow option in Problematic. With lettered tabs, they're perfect for a lesson or class activity. Problematic combines a fast and efficient editor with powerful formatting options.
Were you able to see it? I see that in the chat. I hope everybody could see it. If not, we are going to share the video with you. Now, I'm back in the PowerPoint, so we can just take a look at how those compare with the state release questions. Drag and drop, it's very similar. Notice that they said I can have a PDF of that, or I can have the drag and drop. That is one of the things that I really love about them. Remember when we saw the flashcards that they were showing, or you could have one problem really big? I used to make the assessment and I would print it in all three ways. So I could do it the way that I wanted in class, but if I had kids that were absent, I could give them an easier way to do that, which is probably going to be the PDF through my LMS, unless you have the upgrade and you can have them self-graded. Here's the line drop down, which is kind of like a fill in the blank. Fill in the blank, multiple choice. That's kind of what I see it as. But this is what it looks like for the assessment and how very similar that looks to Problematic. I love that. I'm going to go back to Problematic, make sure that my share is showing up correctly. Yes, it is. Okay. So remember when I was over here looking at all of my questions that I had, my 2 questions, and if I go in here to edit them, What I end up with is a drop down, just like they were showing in the video. I feel like from that video, he was almost talking about it like it was a question I just created, but any of their questions can be edited. Let's walk through that process one more time. I'll go to the choices, and then I can pick which one I want to change this to. And then, oh, I'm not going to change it to multiple choice. It already is. Sorry. Abort, abort. Here we go again. Second time's the charm. Oh, yes. You are not interacting with this today. Your kids could interact with it once you create the test. I am so sorry. So I have multiple choice. Oh no, I'm sorry to the chat then. That wasn't meant for me. Don't you love live TV? It's all the rage. Okay, so now if I pick multiple select block, that means that multiple answers here are correct. So I would just follow the directions from the video, and then I can turn this into that fabulous question. I've also got the ability to have an equation editor. I can add tables, and never forget, I have the wonderful figures up here. I want to take a quick look at their answer key because I forgot to tell y'all this. When I make that PDF, my answer key over here is going to have the answer, but it's also going to have the standard that I'm covering. That way, you've got some good data over here on how your students are progressing through the standard. Now, Problematic will tell you that they are not a test generator. What they are here doing is more like an activity generator, because some of those standards will actually scaffold to what the standard is, the standard outcome that you need. So it might be that it's a piece of what you need. Now, what you could do is go in here to select and select the easier questions for one group of students, select some harder questions for another group, and then the most difficult questions in your mind for a third group. And it's a real quick, easy way to differentiate what type of assessment or activity kids are doing. I love that. But I can't forget to tell you about format. In format, you also have the ability to sort your questions to make multiple views. Maybe it's not format, it might be arrange. I love it when, oh, here we go. Select options. Oh, scramble, that's it. So with scramble, you'll have your, you end up with multiple tests where the problems are rearranged in a different order, which cuts down on cheating. And my last thing is, how did he get that wonderful video game, right? That he was playing? It is at the link, and I'll add this to the chat, ladies. Countdown. Problematic. Oh, sorry. Problematic dash countdown. Well, no, it's not, Bryant. I'll find that link and send it to you. I can show you what it looks like though. Very bottom where they've got games, they've already made some of them into that game. So a lot of these are just fun things. Television trivia. So they've got it. Oh, it's in a different format. I'm gonna click and drag that. So that one of your ways that you would export and use it would show up as that timer. Of course, of course. They have done an update. So I hope that I've given you enough because you're not going to get the timer, but I'll send the video to the ladies and they'll share it with the group. That's what I got. Any questions?
What an amazing product. That is so much more than math. I'm so sorry, Shannon. I marketed it completely wrong.
Don't
I
worry
give
about
up.
it.
I give up on this Kickstart Your Learning. I sent the email too early. I marketed it wrong.
No. Do not worry because honestly, here I'm going to stop my share. Honestly, Christy, the most robust things in there are the math. I do hear social studies and science teachers using it a whole lot and not a whole lot of ELA. So the downfall with the science and social studies is you can't search by standard like you can with math. That's really the big difference between those. They do have passages and questions that follow along. And if it looks familiar to Star One, if you remember that, it's the same company that made Star One.
Cool. All right, teachers out there, what questions do you have for Shannon? I know, Shannon, I'm curious. You said that all secondary teachers have this. So what do I do to get it? Just go to problematic.com.
I'm so glad you asked that. That's great. So yes, you go to problematic.com, you go to log in, and then you click forgot my password, and they'll send you an email that has login information. It's probably going to ask you to reset your password. Anybody that's a secondary teacher, and there are a few world language things in there, but not a whole lot. So of course, no electives. Hurry.
Okay, very cool. So I go to problematic.com, I click login, and I say I forgot my password. They're going to send me information about that.
Yes. And if you didn't catch it, there's AP questions and pre-AP questions on there as well. So quite a bit of differentiation. If you're not familiar with New York Regents, they have great assessment questions and they've got them accessed there. And they have updated it with all released tax. Sorry, I'm old. Star. I knew as soon as the T came to my tongue that I was wrong. But you can see all those that are released have already been added.
Very cool. All right, teachers, any questions? Throw them in the chat now while we have Shannon before she disappears.
If you walk away and think of something later, shannon.bryant.com. No, that's not me. Shannon, I'm sorry, my dog's biting my tongue while I talk to you. You don't have to tell them that. They don't know. Shannon.bryant@kellerisd.net. If you email me, I have a whole bank of videos that I can share with you, and I'll share with EdTech as well.
Awesome.
No questions. I must have done a fabulous job. That's what that means, right? Or you're all asleep out there, so wake up.
True, true. Misty, do you want me to share for the end or you want to share?
Will you share, please?
Absolutely.
Bye-bye, guys. Thank you. It was fun.
Thank you again, Shannon. We really appreciate it.
A couple helpful resources we have our EdTech team has put together with the help of everybody. It takes a village. Is our KIC site. It's just www.kellerisd.net/KIC. It's our KIC site, and almost all things we have, we try to put on our KIC site. We also have a button on KCloud that's #EdTechKISD, where you can get all of our resources, our blog, everything we make for you. It's there. And then we also have a lot of social media. We have our blog, and then we are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and we have this YouTube channel. It is very exciting, and we have a remote parent. Follow us on our social media. My mother-in-law one time, I had shared something from our social media, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, share those over and over because I use them." So it's not just related to school. Sometimes it's just a quick tip. Hey, you didn't know that your phone could do this, or hey, did you know a Chromebook could do this, or your Windows device could do this? So it's really cool. And then please put March 30th on your calendar because we have a resource that not a lot of people know about, or at least they don't know what to do with it. It's called Discovery Education. It's in your KCloud. And it is so much more than videos. And we have an amazing person from Region 11 that's going to come and give us a lowdown on discovery education.
Misty, I just noticed one question in the chat about how to find the images again. Shannon jumped off. She had somewhere else to be, so she was going to jump off as soon as she finished presenting. Missy, Aaron, either of you remember where the images were?
I do not, but if you will shoot us an email, it's just edtech@kellerisd.net, or you can email Shannon directly, but we can get that information for you quickly. And for all of you amazing people, you would like your EQ credit. So please go to this bit.ly link. It's bit.ly/ and these are case sensitive. So capital KICS start 2122. So it's Kickstart 2122. But please make sure you capitalize what is capitalized. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are so excited. We love when people like to share their new tools, where we are in the business of helping you. So we are so glad you joined us today. Share with your friends. It's always on our YouTube channel. So when you go back to campus and you're like, oh my gosh, I learned some really cool things, they can go to our Kickstart page on YouTube and watch them again.